Hi everyone. Today I am trying out some new gouache in my mixed media sketchbook, and I was looking for some disposable type gouache so I can do some practice stuff, and I hadn't tried gouache in this mixed media sketchbook yet. I thought I'd try Arteza. I heard mixed things about it over the years, but I noticed they have these skin tone sets, and it's a skin tone set of 12, but they have other sets that are themed, like ocean and pastels and earth tones. So I thought that'd be a really simple way to have a limited palette that I didn't have to really guess the colors. I kind of wish they had some shadow colors in here, like some violet or some dark gray, Payne's gray or something like that, but they don't, so I'm just kind of going with the darkest color they have in this palette, which is this dark brown. But yeah, I wanted to try out this gouache, and I'm also trying flat brush, which is supposed to be, the thing that is most recommended for gouache painting when you're first laying down your, mapping out your stuff, whether you're drawing a portrait or anything else. But it seems to hold the paint better since the paint is thick, but I kind of paint in a watery consistency with gouache at first anyway, like more similar to watercolor. This first sketch is, it's a little rough. I was telling myself, just stick with the process, because it definitely was looking not very promising at first, but I just stuck with it, and I realized that, new paper, different brush, different gouache. The first sketch is typical to what I do in the book, the sketchbook. Every time I start a page, I'll do a small kind of, small scale portrait up in the corner, and then I'll move on to something larger, and then I'll fill in the space of the page with something else later, whatever I feel like I have room for. But I wanted to try this out, and I thought, all these different things that I'm trying at once, usually kind of, the whole point of having a sketchbook, right? You're just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So this first sketch is, it's looking a little crazy, but ends up looking all right. I mean, I spent more time on this little one than I did on the rest, but I was trying to figure out what colors were going to work, and I really do like the colors, though. They're very reminiscent of like Conte a Paris. They're a figure drawing art supply. They have sticks and pencils, but they all come in those traditional, like sanguine and sepia, and of course black, and they're what a lot of figure drawing artists use when they're using it for practice. But this set reminded me a lot of that, and the lighter tones are more in like the peach, Naples yellow, beige type category. They're less like a straight ochre than they are more of the lighter type skin tones. But I did like them. They were definitely what I was looking for, as far as not having to think too hard about color. And going into this next sketch, I was a lot happier with it, because not only was I working larger, but I started out with my smaller round brush to kind of do the mapping in of the features before I used the flat brush, so I liked that approach better. And the patchiness and streakiness is not due to the paint. That's just kind of how I paint. I don't mind not having a super blended look. I mean, it is possible. People do it all the time, you know. You want to push yourself to do that with gouache, you can definitely do that. But I have done that before, and I didn't find it as satisfying, and I kind of like the look of abstract shapes taking on light and shadow when they're juxtaposed, and then you can just let the paint and the painting kind of guide you intuitively where you want to go with it. And obviously I'm not drawing from reference, so however the light and shadows end up, that's just part of the intuitive painting process. So it just starts to look how I imagine it should look, and whatever looks right. So I just kind of stick with that. And if you look up close, it's pretty patchy. I mean, it doesn't it's definitely not blended, but that's just kind of how I like it. I know you guys have probably heard a lot about gouache having a drying shift with the colors, and I don't find that to be very true with the professional brands, at least the ones I have. I have Holbein and M. Graham. In fact, those just appear more saturated once they're dry to me. But the drying shift thing with the darker colors drying lighter and the lighter colors drying darker was definitely evident with this paint. So I got used to that and was fine with it, as long as I knew what to expect, and, you know, mixed a lot of white with my mid-tones or lighter colors. So have you guys tried this gouache? If you work with gouache, do you have different brands that you prefer as far as what you like to work with in your sketchbook versus what you'd be doing if you're painting something to sell or to give as a gift? I find it really useful to use your less expensive gouache as far as its quality. It should be very close to the gouache that you use that is professional grade, because if you're practicing with something, then you want it to perform similar to the other materials that you'll be using when you want to do something more serious. Otherwise, you're literally just practicing with a completely different medium, and it doesn't really feel like practice when you're using something that does not behave at all like your other supplies. So, other than this paint not being as saturated, I think as far as its flow and its consistency and drying time, it is very, very close to my professional brands. So this last sketch, I thought I would just do one color. Ended up using a slightly darker color near the end, and I think threw some white in, but I did not really know where I was going with this last one. I was just filling in the space. And yeah, I was just realizing that I did not leave myself enough space for her entire face, or her chin got, shortened, and yeah, it was just a filler, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of those paintings you see on the side of buildings or walls in East LA done by gang members. So yeah, I was was thinking about that when I was finishing this up here. So yeah, it's just a sketchbook, so we just do whatever in here. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys have ever used this brand, it's not too bad. It's gone up in price a little bit since it first came out. It used to be touted as the super budget brand, but prices have gone up a little bit. It's still nowhere near as expensive as professional grade. I think this set was like $13 or $14, which is sometimes what you'd pay for just one tube of the other stuff. But I think it's worth giving it a try if you haven't yet and you've never tried gouache. So thanks for hanging out and sticking with me through this process. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.